Hello again. Probably tired of, oh, it's that James Goeman guy again. But this will be mercifully brief, Dual credit, I'm going to cover dual credit, and Andrew's going to cover early college high schools. Dual credit, as we've discussed before, is a process by which a college and a high school set up a course program, basically one or more courses, where the student's going to take some college courses, and by doing so, they're going to get college credit and high school credit at the same time. Basically, you can work with any high school that you want to. It's not limited to publics. You're welcome to work with privates as well. Dual credit laws and rules, we've got the big ones up here. We've mentioned this 28009 earlier. It essentially mandates that public institutions assist school districts when school districts want help. Our dual credit rules are found in 4.81 through 4.85. It basically spells out, here are the things you need to cover in your memorandum of understanding that you work up with a school district. And it lists 9 specific items, but I always tell the folks, put in everything that's worth arguing about. If you can picture that there's some future point the ISD is going to argue with you about this, put it in writing. The dual credit courses, as you well know, there's some interesting laws and rules surrounding dual credit. One thing is that you are allowed at your own discretion to waive or discount the tuition and fees, and how and where and when you do that is, again, a matter of negotiation between you and the school district, but because money is involved, that's one of the things you want to spell out really clearly, so there's no questions about that. Remember that developmental courses can never be dual credit because they're not college level, they're not transferable academic credit, so there are limited circumstances in which, by contract, basically a school district could contract with you to teach some courses that you would teach as developmental ed, but for the high school students, it's not really going to be developmental. You can arrange those type of contracts, but you're not going to get state formula funding for that. But it is something you can do if the school district essentially is willing to pay for it. Dual credit limits and requirements. This is also spelled out in the rules. The principal thing is that students demonstrate college readiness in the area appropriate to what they're trying to undertake. Okay? So that's something that you and your instructional faculty need to judge. Do students need college level reading and writing skills to get through this course? Do they need college level math skills to get through this course? You need to figure that out and require appropriately. Normally, only high school juniors and seniors are eligible, and only 2 courses per term. But as many or perhaps all of you know, you are allowed to devise an exception policy. And again, that's permissive. That's if you want to do it. But given that more and more places are offering these kinds of policies or allowances, I hear many of you say, well, you know, we're feeling pretty obligated to do this. And you can. Just be sure that you have a clear written policy that states, here are the eligibility criteria for students. You have that spelled out. You make sure that you, the chief academic officer, sign off, the principal signs off, and you'll be good to go. Remember that you're responsible for the dual credit instruction, okay? So the quality of instruction, the rigor of instruction, the qualifications of the instructors, how you assess and evaluate those instructors, all of that needs to be in your control. Likewise, the curriculum needs to be under your control. If it's not exactly the same course that you would teach, it's equivalent. Maybe it's strung out over a slightly longer number of weeks. Well, that's fine, as long as you're meeting the same competencies and learning outcomes. Remember then, the grades must be transcribed upon completion of course. You're not supposed to make the students wait for that. They should be able to get that right away. Here are some fairly recent legislation. 2480 was the rather controversial one that allows the ISD, it puts the ISD in the driver's seat. The ISD can come in and they can say, I know you're our local service provider, but there's a reason that we're not satisfied. This is the section of code that covers that, so if you want to see exactly how that ought to work, I'd advise you to look it up. That way, if there is some sort of negotiation that needs to occur, you'll at least know what rules you're operating under. HB 101 is something good to remember for dual credit. It's a good protection for your students. Dual credit, courses taken for dual credit do not count against the student for purposes of excess hours, which is really nice. You know, we're pushing students to make decisions about careers early and earlier, but can we reasonably expect that a 17-year-old is going to know what he or she is going to do when they're 25? Probably not. Probably not. So that's something that is at least helpful to them. We're almost done. Oh, ECHS, that's Andrews. So that's it for me. I'm done.
Hello again. Now I'm going to talk to you about the early college high school. Even though the dual credit is an integral part of the early college high school program, the early college high school, by definition, is one that is regulated and administered by the Texas Education Agency. According to the definition, an institutional entity designated by TEA, where it allows a student who's in the 9th through 12th grade years to combine both high school and college classes that will allow them to get up to 60, allow them to possibly, the opportunity to get up to 60 hours of credit as well, or an associate's degree towards a baccalaureate degree in the future. Any public institution can work with a high school, either public or private, to establish an early college high school program. This is the law, section 29.908, and it says, basically, really it says the commissioner, and the commissioner in this case is the TEA commissioner, shall establish and administer an early college high school program, and what's interesting is for either kids who are at risk or want to accelerate their academics. The rules are found in Chapter 4, 4.151 to 4.161. Once you apply through TEA, and TEA allows you to be designated as a early college high school, that's when you're exempt from the rules of dual credit for these students who are now in 9th and 10th grade especially, to allow them to take college classes earlier, before their junior year, and to take more than 2 per term. That's what allows you to do that. Now, the only rule inside the chapter 4 for the Higher Education Coordinating Board says that any school or institution of higher education who is entering into an agreement with a school district or a school to form an early college high school needs to notify us. But through the application process of TEA, once you go into the process, through their process, they automatically notify us, which then satisfies this requirement. And that's really it for early college high schools for me. We're both well-versed in dual credit, Dr. Goeman and myself, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.